the Belleville Zoning Board of Adjustment for February 1st, 2024 will now come to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Andita.
Here.
Giordano.
Here.
Mafucci.
Here.
Catalino.
Here.
Rinaldi.
Here.
Soriano. Milano.
Here.
Bennett. Here. Del Garcia.
Here. Okay, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, has notice of this meeting been given with accordance to the Sunshine Law?
Certification of meeting has been advertised according to the Sunshine Law.
Okay. Approval of minutes from Thursday, January 4th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve, or is there any corrections or amendments?
Motion.
Motion made by Ms. Bennett, seconded by Mr. Mafucci. Exactly. Clerk, call the roll.
Andita.
Yes.
Giordano.
Yes.
Mafucci.
Yes.
Catalino.
Yes.
Rinaldi.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Del Garcia.
Yes. Okay. Any applications for adjournment? I believe we have one. Let me see. Yes. Okay. I don't have the ZB number on this. Oh, where's the agenda? Okay. ZB 2023-13. Gonzaga Real Estate and Building Incorporated 2-8. Cleveland Street, blocks 8503, lots 33 and 34. Ms. Ciccarelli, I am writing to respectfully request an adjournment with regard to the above captioned matter. We are requesting that the application for Gonzaga Real Estate and Building Incorporated, scheduled to be heard at the February 1st, 2024 meeting of the Belleville Zoning Board of Adjustment, be adjourned until the April 4th, 2024 regular meeting. Revised plans will be resubmitted and new legal notices will be sent to property owners within 200 feet via certified mailing and published no later than 10 days prior to the April 4th, 2024 meeting. In consideration of this adjournment request, the applicant agrees to suspend any and all applicable time limitations for municipal action for the duration of the adjournment. Thank you in advance for your time and assistance in connection with this matter, with this request. Yours truly, Michael Palmieri, Esquire. There we go. Palmieri. I never get it right.
We know.
So who cares? Anyway, now we have a resolution to be memorialized. I'd like to get that out of the way. Okay.
Okay. 1 second. Matter of 77 Mount Prospect Avenue LLC, address 270-272 Belleville Avenue, application number ZB 2023-09. Andita.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Giordano.
Yes.
Mafucci.
Yes.
Rinaldi.
Yes.
Del Garcia.
Yes.
Memorial.
Okay. Now our annual report. Does everybody see the copies of the annual report? Anybody have any questions about it? Because we have to approve this to be sent to the planning board and the council. I don't know, is there anybody else we send it to? Oh, that's it, okay. Make a motion to approve our report for 2023. Motion made by Mr. Giordano, second. Do I get a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Pedalino. Clerk, call the roll.
Andita.
Yes.
Giordano.
Yes.
Mafucci.
Yes.
Catalino.
Yes.
Rinaldi.
Yes.
Milano.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Del Garcia.
Yes. Okay, now, first case on our agenda is ZB 2023-07, 449, 451 Washington Avenue. Is this the application? Is that the application of the current owner?
The applicant, the current owner,
Because we went into this last
we went into
couple
this
months
last
ago.
time, and what had happened is we did file, the paperwork was there, we did file with the proper name. But the newspaper did have the wrong name, there's no question about that.
What is the proper name?
Well, it's on the application. It's called Real Values Washington Avenue LLC.
Then it's not 449, 451 Washington Avenue LLC, correct?
That is correct, but everything that we have is Real Values Washington Avenue LLC.
Let me see what I got here. Real values, okay, this says real values.
This was checked and double checked, and
So the application was correct, is what you're telling me?
LLC. I think the application, the
See, I have a
original,
thing that says proof of service, and it says 449, 451 Washington Avenue.
that's the address.
No. Oh, wait a minute, yes,
Yes,
okay.
that's the address.
Applicant's full name, 449, 451 Washington Avenue LLC. That's what's in the application that we have here. Apparently, some papers are one way and some papers are another.
Judge, the application was corrected, and the proper name is Real Values Washington Avenue LLC.
Do you have a copy of the application that you're talking about?
Okay? How I did send,
This is, hold on, things that are right, things that are wrong. I'm trying to get what's right and what's wrong.
The only application?
Now, this is here. Okay. Unless we have two of these with different names.
I think there was one application, no question about it, with 449, 451, and then it was amended to Real Values Washington Avenue LLC.
I'm looking for the amended.
I didn't receive it. If I did, everyone would have had it.
The list of property owners is in
Well,
the
that I have. Well,
correct
the list of
name.
property owners don't change.
The township, the zoning board notices are in the correct name. The notice in the newspaper is in the correct name. So you want the original application, is that what you're asking for?
Yes. I'm looking at the original application that has them. Well, here's another.
I have it right here.
Let's get the,
I have a complete
Hold
copy,
on,
and
I have two here.
it shows
See, this says, wait a minute, this is,
Real Values Washington Avenue LLC on page 2.
no, that's not, this says.
But I have this.
Hand that to me, let me
There
see
you
these
go.
guys. Because we have to have this in the file.
I mean,
That should be
we
right.
checked
in the
this
file.
3 times,
As long as he puts on
and on the
record
second
as
page,
that it's
it's got the correct name.
Real Values Washington.
Yeah, see, now he has that on here. Can I ask you a question?
Sure,
Who's the managing owner?
he's here.
I asked the question of who
Isaac.
he is.
Is that Isaac?
Isaac, yes, George.
Okay, Isaac Deutsch
Yes.
testified in December,
Right.
December 7th, and he testified as the owner. Now,
Right.
is he part of Real Values Washington Ave LLC, or
Yes.
is he part of 449, 451 LLC?
No, he's Real Values Washington LLC. That's the
So
name.
he's one of the owners.
Right.
And there's another Deutsch that signed as managing member. Is that his brother, or is that
No,
him?
it's him. That's only him. He signed everything.
He had a different first
Well,
name.
he may have signed,
It's up. That was
well,
his son.
I call him Isaac, but his correct
It's the
name. It's the same name.
Okay, so that's right. All right. So we have on the record the real owner. So we have on the record
No, this is what he just handed. Hold on. This is what he just handed. This is what's in the file. I'm going by what's in the file. Look at the second page on this.
real name.
Look at the second page on this. Because there has to be a copy of that in the file.
This is Washington Ave, this one's the real,
Right,
supposedly the real owner.
That's the one he just handed me.
Yeah,
right, we corrected the application.
is this in the file?
No.
Is this yours?
That's it.
Yes, that's the file and the copy. That
Okay,
was,
we'll need this for our records, maybe some,
okay.
does this say amended anywhere on it?
I don't know, I think she
Maybe.
probably just changed the name.
Okay, yeah, when you get a copy,
Okay,
maybe before you leave tonight,
Okay.
we'll put amended on it, so we know what's
Okay.
going on.
okay. But it does have the correct name.
Okay,
Okay.
so we got the name and we got
Right.
Itzhak Deutsch as the
Right.
managing member.
All right, so we could proceed then.
Okay, as long as we have that tucked away someplace.
We have to have a copy of that. That has to be put in the file before we leave.
Okay, and not to belabor the point, it was my office's mistake. Even the request for property owners from last year had Real Values Washington Avenue LLC. We just never corrected the application itself.
Okay.
But all the other paperwork had Real Values on it.
Well, before I go on, anyone in the audience who is here for ZB 2023-13, Gonzaga Real Estate and Building Incorporated, 2-8 Cleveland Street, blocks 8503, lots 33 and 34.01 or whatever. This case has been adjourned until April 4th, I believe, right?
Yes.
And there'll be no further notices in the newspaper. Well, actually, there will be.
They're gonna
He's gonna send
renotice.
new notices in the newspaper and within the 200 feet radius.
Modify the plans.
Yeah, they don't wanna modify. All right. So,
What's your game plan tonight, Mr. Rinaldi?
It's going to be very short. I have the owner here again, just to testify to what he testified to last time.
Okay,
And then I have an architect who will be very quick and a planner.
is your architect Justin's?
Well,
Stefani?
no, it's Mr. Gunzo himself.
Okay. Okay.
is that the one that's in the application that you have listed as the expert?
Yes, they're listed. His firm is listed.
All right. And same thing with the planner, because I know you had two witnesses in this.
Yes, I have Mr. Kirby.
Okay, why don't we start with Mr. Deutsch?
Okay, Mr. Deutsch, would you?
He's still under oath from the December 7th meeting.
Okay.
You're still under oath.
Mr. Deutsch, and again, how are you related to the owner? Who is the owner of this property?
Yes, myself.
Okay, is it an LLC, Real Values
It's Real
Washington?
Values Washington Avenue LLC.
And what are you to that LLC?
I'm managing member.
I show you what was marked previously A2 for identification back on December 7th, 23. Can I use the same marking, or do you want to mark it over?
No, it's
again?
A2, it should be a letter of intent to
Yes,
purchase
it's a
the
letter
property.
of intent to purchase real estate. You see that letter of intent? Okay, and did you, in fact, sign this letter of intent?
Yes,
With your signature. And on this letter of intent, does it indicate the nature of the use of the property?
yes, it says 10 family included 2 offices.
10 family included 2 offices. Then, do you remember signing a contract that was marked A1 back on December 7th, a contract for sale of real estate? Do you remember signing this
Yes.
contract? And this contract, in paragraph 12, talks about the building and zoning laws, and what does this contract provide? You were one.
Yes, it's, the bar intends to use the property as a building with 10 residential apartments.
Now, again, that's, was there when you signed the contract.
Yes.
Okay? And then you closed on the property, correct? And there come a time, if I may, I have a photograph I'd like to have.
So the applicant now owns the property, it's not,
We all know what the property looks
He
like.
purchased the property, yes.
Yes.
it's
You're
not
saying-
contingent on.
You're saying it's 8 and 2 or 10?
Well, the one document said that it was 8 and 2,
Which document?
the letter of intent,
Go ahead.
but then the contract, by the time it got to the contract phase, it said that it was a 10 residential, did you read that?
Apartments.
10 residential apartments.
Well,
That's what the, now, it's not binding on the town, I'm not
Okay.
suggesting, I just want you to understand my client didn't
Well-
do anything wrong.
well, technically, if a client saw that,
Right.
he should ask the question, what is it? I mean,
Well,
the
that's-
intent said 8 and 2, and the other one's saying 10.
Correct.
And, you know, the buyer has to beware what he's
Right,
buying.
but he had an attorney that prepared the contract, and
That has nothing to do with us, the attorney.
no, I will, and again, I'm not saying, I just
Okay.
want you to understand, my client didn't.
So
think
right
it
now,
was-
legally, it's an 8 and a 2?
Legally, I think
we're trying to
Frank,
find out.
I think Mr. Di Lorenzo indicated that it's an 8 residential and 2 commercial downstairs.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, that's what
Well,
counts
yes.
for us.
And he's here to convert the 2 on the ground floor to.
2 more apartments.
Right.
For a total of 10.
Right, may I just mark this for identification?
Hold on, wait a minute, Mr. Milano, you got a question?
I have a question.
Sure.
You just asked a question. What does he think it is? So he thinks he bought a 10 and 2,
I
right?
don't care what he thinks.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
So he's here to convert the 2 stores, correct?
Now, wait a minute, before we go anywhere, the first document was a letter of intent. Who signed the letter of intent?
My client signed it.
That's it. The letter of intent was to buy 8 and 2.
Can I get my...
Go ahead.
That's not
Well, no, it's not what it says. It says 10 family and including 2 offices, so really it's a 12.
That's my point.
It's really a 12.
That's my point.
And again, it's not binding on the town,
It's,
and it may be sloppy paperwork, but I just don't want you to think my client is coming here trying to do something
I'm
that's
not worried
not.
about your client. I want to get on the record what we're looking to do. In my mind, right,
Go ahead.
it's an 8 and 2 right now.
Yes,
Legally,
legally.
right.
8 residentials, 2 commercials.
But let me finish. His it sounds like he's here to convert the 2 into apartments.
Yes.
So if we say yes, hypothetically, now it's a 10
10 total.
and not a 10 and 2.
No.
You understand that?
Yes, it should be
And I
10 total, no
believe-
question about it.
And I believe, and I want to, well, Mr. Hurwitz was sworn in last month. Does that count for this one too?
I don't think Tom.
I was here for the first, this
Yes,
first meeting.
Tom was sworn in and Frankie as well.
All right,
my
so-
question-
So my question,
Let me finish my question.
Go ahead, you
please.
finish your question.
My question is, if we give him permission to convert the 2 storefronts, right? He still has the 10 already, right? So what is it, are we approving 12 or 10?
A 10,
Total of 10.
total of 10, that's what we're asking for.
No more commercial. And the reason, no more
No
commercial.
more commercial?
Well, you know what, well, here's what we're gonna put to testimony.
I'm just asking.
No, to make things easy for you, we're gonna put into testimony what's on each floor.
Right.
So that way, it has to add up to 10.
I don't wanna leave here with a 10 and 2 and now
I
it's 12.
agree with you 1,000%. That's why I'm gonna ask for testimony on what's on each floor.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree with you 1,000%.
Because he has it in his hand.
Now, let me ask Mr. Hurwitz something, since Mr. Di Lorenzo is in here. And Mr. Hurwitz is a planner and a engineer. The reason I believe this is before us is because under the new zoning laws, there is to be commercial on the first floor on Washington Avenue and apartments above. So
Exactly.
this is a D application for that purpose, am I correct?
That's correct. This is
Everybody in
a
agreement here?
BG
So
zone.
we are approving the,
No, we're not approving anything yet.
what he's looking for is the abolishment of the 2 commercials.
Yes.
And will have a 10-family with no commercial.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Right.
I wanna make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Not giving them 10 units plus the 2.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I'm gonna have my planner testify to this, but on the records, it showed at one point 10 units residential, 2 of which were then converted to offices. So the paperwork, it's
That
just,
adds to
over the
12.
years, it just kept changing.
Well, do you have the tax records of all this?
Yeah, well, the planner will get into that, yes. It went back and
It's not in
forth.
the application, that's why I'm asking.
Right, no, but it's being actually, I think, taxed as 10 residential units.
Well, but you're here for 8, you're here for 10 residential units in the
Yes.
store, no
Yes.
commercial.
No.
Mr. Deutsch, do you understand that?
Yes.
You're not here for
Yes.
10 and 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, we may proceed.
And-
Be-
go ahead.
Were you done? I thought you were done. I wanted to get your name, because I wasn't here at the last meeting.
So it's Isaac Yitzchak Deutsch.
Can you spell it for me?
Y-I-T-Z-C-H-O-K.
And Isaac,
I-S-A-A-C.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Now, questions for you, Mr. Deutsch, because now it's our turn to do questions.
Yes.
What percentage of the corporation do you own,
100.
of this corporation?
Yes.
What percentage do you own?
It's 100.
100%? Oh, 100%, okay. Just want to clear that up, that's all. Any other questions by members of the board?
Well, are you done questioning him, Mr.?
Wait, I just have one other question.
Yeah, okay, no, one more
I
question.
thought it was on.
After you purchased this, the closing was in the spring of '22, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, after you purchased it, there come a time when you came into the Belleville Municipal Building and you went to the building department and you spoke to the building department, and is that when you found out that it was 8 residential units and 2 commercial units?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more testimony or questions you're going to ask? Okay. Any other questions by members of the board?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we know what it legally was, when it was built?
Well, that's not in the file, so I would know, we would need Frankie here.
Frankie here to tell us about that. Do you have any idea, Tom?
I would think it was 8-2.
Because if there was
Unless
no
they
commercial-
have old tax records from when it was built,
I think at some point.
that says what it was when it was built. That's why I said there's no tax records in the file that he supplied. Now, if he has them,
I think my planner has some record, Sal, you have some records, don't you? My planner's going to testify to that.
All right. So
Because
he
he and I
legally-
went back and forth because it keeps, on your records, it changed several times over the years.
well, if we could see the records, it would help.
Put them into
I was going to put them in through the planner, if I could.
Well,
You
you want to do it first?
The 2 have been there legally, he had to have the 2.
Let him do it the way he wants to. Oh, whatever you say.
But
is
you want to
okay.
see them now, I mean,
No, it's your case.
I was going to have him testify to the documents that are there and tell us what they are.
Okay.
But I don't
Well,
even-
we would have to see the documents also.
Yes, yes. Are there any
We're gonna have
questions?
to wait, because we only ask questions of this guy's the only one sworn in yet. Okay. So,
No questions.
any questions by members of the public of the witness? None. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you can call your next witness.
Yes, I'll call Mr. Guzzo, the architect.
So if you could raise your right hand when you're comfortable. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
Yes, it
Could
is.
you state your full name and spell your last name, please?
Sure. Anthony Guzzo, G-U-Z-Z-O.
Thank you. Okay. Why don't you qualify him, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Guzzo, would you please give the board the benefit of your education and
Yes.
professional experience?
Yes. I have a 5-year bachelor's degree of architecture from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I am a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey and 6 other states that we work throughout. I have appeared before this board and many others throughout the state.
And your license is still valid?
It is valid and current.
You can testify.
Okay, I don't want
No
to-
problem.
Okay, could you go ahead?
I have a couple of some documents here, just so the visual, just to give some description of the property. Again, you're familiar with the building.
We should mark This needs to be marked. I don't think we have.
I guess that would be A3.
A3. A3.
And today's date.
That's a big one. Could you just tell us who, when that photo was taken and who took it, please?
That was taken several days ago by my office, actually.
And that's the subject property.
That's the subject property, yes.
So just for overview purposes, it's a two-story building. As we've been talking about, there are 4 units, 4 one-bedroom units per floor. So it's 2 stories. The 2 upper stories here consist of 4 units per floor, so there's 8 residential units. And then there's 2 lower level units which are accessed through the front, which are, as our understanding is a commercial space right now. We're looking to convert them back to a one-bedroom unit. So they would be similar in size and design as some of the upper units are here. So it's basically a one-bedroom unit with a living room, a small dining area, and kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom. So the existing building, of course, has been there for a while. As far as code compliant, when we're converting back to residential, what we're looking to do is upgrade, of course, the inside with paint, some adjustments of the walls, new kitchens, create new bathrooms and bedrooms. But part of that requirement is that since we have an enclosed bedroom, we need a second point of egress out of here. So we are at that lower level. So what we were proposing and are proposing on our plans is an escape well, an improved egress window that would be out the back of the building, which currently is not there. So right now there's 2 Bilco doors there, which is some access to that lower level. We're looking to expand that opening, put egress compliant windows in with this egress escape well, so to make it a legitimate code compliant bedroom. So that's what we're looking to do on each of the floors, and that's what's represented in my architectural floor plans that you have submitted in your package. So from an overview standpoint, that's what we're looking to do. So I believe that the visual here is important from the fact that visually it appears that it's a residential structure. And I know that they do have commercial use down at the lower level. I am not as familiar with the history and what was down there and what it was used for, but typically just because my background comes from a lot of retail, commercial space, we do a lot of work in that realm. This is really not the best suited for a commercial space, whether it be an office or a small retail space, just because of the arrangement of the building, the way the parking situation is, and access in. So we just felt, I think architecturally looking at this, not from a planning standpoint, but just a visual working standpoint, that the residential use made a lot of sense. Whether it went back to that, we're not sure of the history, whether it was residential originally, but our thoughts here was really a conversion back to that, which we felt was a little bit better use just for the appearance and also the accessibility.
I have a question for you. How many parking spaces are currently there?
There are 6 across the front currently.
And that's it?
And there is a large driveway that goes front to back of the property, which is potential tandem spots. That's not really legitimate legal spots, but there is the ability to park along that driveway and stack the cars along the depth of the property.
Well, how many cars could you fix if you did do tandem?
It's 74 feet, so I mean typically we're going to go 18 to 20 feet per space. So we could get 3, potentially 4 if we're going down to a minimum size on a car. So
But
potentially
they would be tandem.
tandem, correct?
They wouldn't be able to go around the side. In other words,
No,
these are
they
all
wouldn't.
individual units.
No, there
So-
would be no circulation around the building. It's a one-way in and backing out.
So that means if somebody goes in, they can't get out unless they find whoever owns the other cars, correct?
Correct.
And back out.
Get back out, exactly.
If I might, I've never seen cars tandem. ever.
Yeah, I mean, my observation of the property is the same. that there were striped spots there. I've never seen anything in the driveway several times, many times.
I only say that because I worked in a town.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Does this, I don't know if you're the proper person to ask this to, but I'm just gonna ask it, if I'm wrong, just correct me. Does this project currently meet, if the apartments are approved, right, are there gonna be three bedrooms?
No, one-bedroom units only.
One bedroom, does this okay, if we approve this project tonight, you guys go ahead, does this project meet the parking protocol?
No.
No.
No, just from an overview, it does not. I know the planner can give you a little bit more testimony when he comes up. But yeah, it's non-conforming as it is currently.
The units that are there now, the ones that are functional, rented out, what, are they 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms?
I believe they're one-bedrooms.
They're all 1 bedrooms.
They're all small, it's almost like studio apartments.
So it would be safe to say, sir, that your statement about the tandem parking is not actually something that can be actually
It's an
utilized.
overflow, but it technically, I would say from a zoning engineering standpoint, it's not preferred because of that maneuverability. You'd have to back out to let someone who's in front of you out.
Yes.
I know where he's going, and he's right. I have one question. Would it be better suited for everyone, rather than 3, to do 2? This way you have 8 spots now, and one that's gonna have to move, they can move forward and back down.
Well, I have another question. Based on the plans you submitted, would you say the 2 upstairs floors are 4 of the same type of units as you're showing on here, with 2 in the middle where it says existing basement space on this? So are they all the same, is what I'm saying?
Yes. I will bring up just my plan, which you have in your package.
Because we don't have nothing showing the 2nd and 3rd floor.
Correct.
No, I'm looking at the first, no, he's.
So the arrangement up above is 4 individual units, fairly equally divided across the width of the building. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. On the lower level, this is more of a utility type space right now. So there is no access off the front area. There is some back access, but it's more utilities. And this is just like a basement space to kind of feed the building.
Okay. Did you have another question, Mr. Guarino?
No, I'm just saying, if he's looking to convert the 2 residentials, commercials, right? In my mind, into an ease apartment situation, it's not ideal, but if you use the 72 feet and only put 2, you can pull in and pull out and back out.
And that would be good for the current 8,
That's my point.
not the 10 he wants to put.
Just give me my thought. I'm not arguing. It doesn't resolve all the issues.
No, it don't.
But when I make them put tandem, putting 3 defeats the purpose.
I agree.
Everybody has to move. But you make them put at least 2.
But technically, if you could put 2 now,
Yeah.
then you have 8 parking spaces for 8 units.
I agree.
And when they go to work, which we had the same type of situation a month or 2 ago,
No,
when they go to work, the commercial uses could use the parking spaces. Same way as only 2 months or a month ago, whenever we had that other case, that we voted on the resolution tonight, by the way, memorialized. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the backyard look like, sir?
Right now, it's primarily just a paved area. I have the rear yard setback here. We're about 14 and a half
Do
feet.
you have any pictures of that?
I do not.
Does the owner have any pictures of the back?
I have a picture going down the driveway, not the back, you mean the backyard itself?
Yeah.
It's all paved, the backyard is paved.
So
Do you know the square footage of the backyard?
square footage of the overall backyard.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick little calc here. Right number.
No, it's a company, like,
There's a set of stairs that goes to the basement.
It would be.
So it's about 1,000 square feet in the rear of the property.
So tandem is not even a possibility.
It's about 1,000 square feet overall behind the building.
Do you know the fee from the back of the house to the property line?
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah, it's 14.6.
All right, so there's no possibility of a parking?
No, we actually looked at that, because that was, they were presented that, I don't think it's viable
The driveway
to
on-
pull in like this and kind of back out. Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough.
The driveway on the side looks extremely narrow in an aerial view.
Yeah, it's actually,
I have a picture of it.
it's skewed a little bit, but it's 9 foot 2.
Why?
At its tightest point, because the property kind of kicks in halfway.
There's an emergency.
Okay, excuse me, I can't hear
I'm sorry.
one person.
Sorry,
One at a time, please.
sorry. My issue, right, is that we're talking, we brought up the subject about tandem parking. To be honest, I don't even think that tandem parking would even work on this property. Because it's too narrow. If there is a fire on this property, God forbid not, but how is emergency services supposed to access the side of that building if there's gonna be parking, cars parked there? So the whole idea, this notion that we're entertaining right now, whoever brought it up, is just, to me, it just doesn't make any sense to have any type of tandem parking on the side. So right now, as it stands, you got 6 parking spots, and then you're gonna add the inclusion, right, of these other, where are they gonna park? Are they gonna park on the street?
There's no question that parking is an issue, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
deny that. But, I mean, there are many buildings on Washington, the building next door,
Yeah.
where there's one building after another, and there is no access to the backyards or next to the building. My client does have a picture on his iPad from his security camera, if you want to see what the backyard looks like.
We just went on Google Earth, we got an aerial view.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Are the 2 proposed apartments 1 bedroom each?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
All right.
I have another structural question. Are we good with the parking?
Yes.
If approved, if this project is approved, right, will the facade of this building match, go along with our, like, is it gonna be fixed? Is it gonna look nicer?
Yeah,
Do you have a picture of that?
Um,
Because right now, this
Yeah, sure.
property looks like a mini motel.
Yeah, we had some conversations here, so definitely going to have some upgrades here. The owner was looking to, of course, enhance some of the paving there as far as a new topping. As far as the building goes, we were looking to at least do a cleanup there with power washing, some paint along the concrete and metal work that's there.
So just paint the building.
Currently, that's all, yes, we have planned. It's just kind of really has been neglected, so maybe add some color into especially some of the windows here, just to kind of bring it a little bit more up to date, and that's it. So there will be some improvements from a color standpoint, but right now there's no intention of actually completely changing the facade.
And you don't have any artistic renderings to support that, right?
Well, no, I do not, no.
Could I just interject? He came to our office. What happened is he came into Mr. Di Lorenzo's office to start the process of doing something there. And he found out that what he wanted to do was illegal, came to us, and we started this process. There is going to be...
What did he want to do that was illegal?
Pardon me?
What did he ask to do that was illegal?
He was going there for the apartments, and he was told that they're not apartments. He thought they were apartments. He was going there to tell them about the plans that they
I
had.
think he was trying to, from what I recall, because we had done some construction drawings for the space, they were applying for a building permit, and that's when they found
But
out.
that has nothing to do with the facade.
No, not at all.
Has nothing to do with the
Well, no,
facade.
but-
The question was over the facade.
But the facade is going to be addressed.
That has
Right.
nothing to do with when he went in
Right.
to get a permit.
No.
If he went to get a permit work for the facade, whether it's a 8-family and 2 commercial, has nothing to do with that.
No, he didn't go in for, he didn't have
He
plans for
came
the
in to
facade.
convert the 2
Yes.
apartments, the
Right.
2 commercial to residential.
That's
That's
correct.
what he came for, and that's why he was told it was illegal,
Right.
and that's why we're
No,
here.
no, but he is going to clean up the entire building. I mean, that was his overall plan, the blacktop, the front, to do away with a walkway that goes through 3 parking spaces. That really is his plan, but
Well, there should be some type of walkway. Go ahead.
Where is the commercial here? I mean, where is it?
The commercial is
By the steps
located
that
on
go
the
down.
2 sides of the property, so there's steps that go down to each one. There's one here on the left side and one on the right side.
Mr. Chairman,
Huh?
they already have kitchens in them. I've been in them for years. They have kitchens, bedrooms, they've been used as apartments for years.
So they were being used illegally as apartments?
I don't know if they're illegal, but they were.
Well, if the only thing that's legal is commercial, then it's illegal.
at one
Mr.
time,
Di Lorenzo said all that's allowed there is the 8 apartments plus the 2 commercial. Then that's what he has as what's legally there.
Was it ever used for commercial purposes?
You mean residential?
I think the planners, I think the planners.
Why don't we get to the plan
Okay.
and cut through the red tape? And if we have any other questions for
Okay.
the architect,
Oh, I don't have,
we can ask.
the only question I wanted to show him, I just would like you to identify this photograph. Could we mark this?
That should be A4. A4, photograph of something.
This photograph says it all, because someone asked, where is the commercial?
Right.
Okay, so you just opened a brand-new store in the commercial space, and it's located behind that parked car. Absolutely no visibility from the street. That's why it was never anything there commercial. It was always, and at one time, illegally used as residential.
So
No
it's
question
never
about
been,
it.
it's never been used for
So
sale
you-
of anything?
So you agree it was used illegally as a commercial?
Yes.
I mean, as a residential?
Yes, my planner will testify.
Okay.
And it's carried on the tax records, it's taxed for 10 residential units. The tax man went in there and saw 10 residential units.
And that has nothing to do with the construction code?
Right, no, I agree. I mean, it's a mess, I'm not denying that. I just don't want my client, he tried to do the right thing by coming to town and trying to, and then this happened. I have no more questions.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What is the driveway currently used for now?
I haven't seen parking there, to be honest with you. Every
The
time
one
I've
car
went-
could park next to the other one, so it would be 7 spaces then, right?
Yes.
And are the parking spaces assigned right now, or I see they're numbered? Because there's 8
I-
units currently, and there's only 6 spaces. Are they first come, first served, or?
Yeah, I couldn't answer that.
I don't think, are they assigned, the parking
Yes.
space? They are
Each one
assigned.
has one parking.
Okay.
And there's 3 seniors,
With not everyone has a car. So the people there now all are assigned.
Currently living there?
Yes, so there's 6. There's actually always an extra space because 3
Can I
units
see
don't
that
have cars.
close up here, please?
Yeah, could I have that also marked for
This
identification?
would be A5.
I have one other question.
No, that's, yeah, A5, A5.
Right.
The garbage removal and whatever, is that the driveway used for that, or anything like that? Would that be a problem?
garbage on the left side.
Garbage is on the left side of yours, okay, so that won't be impacted at all. If that is,
And that's it?
Give us both pictures.
Sure.
For the record, what is A5? Front of the building at
A5.
There's a photograph showing the front of the building, the left side where there is a commercial unit that's behind that car that's parked there.
Okay.
That can't be used as a spot. It's not a spot. We can answer that. He can answer that, right, Mr. Horowitz?
Yes, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Heroditz, just for clarity's sake, you know, because I just heard that, oh, can we use this as parking space number 7? Am I correct to understand, if we try to use that, how is emergency services gonna get through it?
Not gonna get.
So can we just phase out parking spot number 7 and say, listen, man, we can't put parking spot number 7 there, because if a fire truck or firemen have to go through there to turn off the fire, you can't, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, because say the fire's in the back of the building, which is where the bedroom is. Now, I don't know if the bedrooms are in the same place on the 2nd and 3rd floor, I have no idea, because I'm only looking at this basement area. But the key is, I don't have nothing listed as what's on the 2nd floor, what's on the 3rd floor.
There's 4 apartments on each floor.
I understand that, but it doesn't tell me where the kitchen is, where the living room is, where the bedroom is. It don't tell me any of that because I don't have the 2nd and 3rd floor. I only have the basement. Basement shows there's a living room as you go in the front. Then there's a kitchen area. Then there is seems to be a bathroom area, and the bedroom's all the way in the back. On both sides.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if the other apartments are exactly the same.
What the photo shows windows, I think.
The
you
layout
see
is
the bathroom.
it's basically the same. Yeah, the layout is basically the same. You come with living room, kitchen right after that,
Right,
and the bedroom in the back.
and there's 4 on each floor.
Yeah.
Could I, the 2 units in the basement,
Yes.
how long have they been used as residential space?
My client has no idea. He
Are they
wanted-
now being used as residential
Oh,
space?
no, they're empty. Well, they were empty when he bought them. No one's living there.
So,
Can I see the-
is it fair to say there was never commercial space here? You're asking us to bless what is in fact a 10-family residential building. I don't see any commercial.
There's never been commercial. I mean, you can see, it just doesn't lend itself to commercial. You're never gonna, no one's gonna put a store where you can't see it below grade. Now, also, when Mr. Di Lorenzo was here last time, he did indicate that if you grant it, my client has a lot of work that he has to do to make this comply with all the codes. Okay, there's no question about that. It would be a lot easier for him to leave it as commercial, but you're not gonna rent it as commercial. So, we're not asking you to do away with any of the safety. That's all up to Mr. Di Lorenzo, and he stated that on the record. And like, for example, with the fire trucks, I'd say over half of the buildings on Washington Avenue are one after another. You can't get fire trucks around. Next door to this building, to the left of it, is another building right next to it, and then another building next to that. So, although I understand your concern, and of course, it would be better to be able to get around the back, but most of the buildings on Washington Avenue.
But the whole thing is, and I think this is what Mr. Aguirre is questioning, if you have a fire in any of the bedrooms in the back, and they have to go with the hoses, it's not gonna be easy to go through hoses with cars parked on that right side.
There's the left side, there's walking space on the left side of the
You go
building.
through the front door.
On the left side, you can
Yeah,
hardly
on the
walk
left
through, so
side of the
narrow, that's
building,
where you got
yeah.
your garbage cans.
You don't fight it
No,
from
the
the
garbage
back.
cans in the front of the building, but
Fires
the
in the
side
back,
was
you come in the front, push it out the back.
I mean,
Okay, let's say it's in the front, then what do? You do it from the front also?
No, you're supposed to come from the opposite direction.
Oh, okay, so either way, you have to have access to the back.
Yeah, but they don't have access into the building, into the units from the back.
and again, I mean, I'm not gonna argue
Yeah,
safety.
absolutely. It doesn't even have to be fire trucks.
Right.
Just an emergency, police need to get access. It's gonna be just as hard to get through if there's cars there.
Oh,
That's
no
what I'm trying to
question
say.
about it.
Yeah, that's my only thing with this. I just, the whole notion of putting parking there in tandem doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I'm not,
Just one car.
Yeah, even one car, it
The case
doesn't
is-
work for me. I
Okay.
mean, it doesn't work for me, but.
Good. Now it's
Who's next, the climate?
Oh, yes, the plan.
Well, Sheldon got a question.
Oh, yes. Well, first, anybody else have questions of the architect? Mr. Shelton?
I was going to ask, what, the basement space?
Huh?
There's a basement there, what is that used for? Is this storage for the?
Yeah, I mentioned it before, it's more of a storage utility space.
For the-
It was
for the
completely
units?
vacant when I went there and observed those two sites.
And it's only accesses from the rear?
Correct.
So that's why you don't want to block it off for you to keep.
Evening, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street.
Go ahead.
Let me start off by saying that I live relatively close to this project.
If you're going to give testimony to another story.
Testimony, I just wanted to go on record that I live nearby, but with beyond 200 feet. So I'm familiar with this property. Earlier, you testified that the driveway at its widest is 9 feet 2 inches.
It's 8 feet 3 inches.
8 feet 3? Oh, it's at its widest, it's 8 feet 3 inches.
No, it's narrowest.
What is, that's
Based
what
on
the
the
more important thing
survey.
is, what's the narrowest?
Based
If I
on
did
survey.
say that, then I agree. It's at the narrowest, it's 8.3, so if that's how I testified, I apologize. It gets pinched to the rear, it starts out at 9'2", but the property skews back towards the rear.
So if it's only 8.3, if it's 8.3 at its narrowest, that doesn't even allow enough room for most cars to get through. So I think this idea of auxiliary parking, tandem parking is moot, it's a lost cause. Unless they can secure additional property. There is a vacant lot, which is owned by Santander Bank, next to this facility on the right side. And I believe that the town council right now is, at the last meeting, they proposed usage of eminent domain to take that empty lot from Santander Bank. So I don't know if that lot may be in
What do they want to take it for?
municipal parking. If you're familiar with that area, Washington Avenue, where the bank is
No, I
currently,
know.
Santander Bank, there's been actually it's 2 lots, but it's a huge lot, which has been
Yeah, I've seen that.
vacant for decades. Just very recently, the council went forward with the first step to use eminent domain to take that property. That property is in the name of the original bank that was their DeWitt Savings and Loan. So they are making an effort to take ownership of that lot. There is a large piece of land next door, which I don't know could go into a bidding war between this applicant and the bank.
Well, here's the whole thing though. We can't entertain any of that for a number of reasons. Number one, it could become a municipal parking lot, but that would be in the future, not what we're seeing now. That's number one. Number two, if it did become a municipal parking lot and they decided to meter it, I don't think we're gonna have residents of the property looking to pay for metered parking all night or all day.
I agree.
Okay, so that is completely irrelevant to the whole case right now. Okay?
The other, because I'm familiar with this, I was on Google Earth this afternoon looking at other images. According to what I have seen and what is available on Google Earth, and I think Mr. Ankita and Ms. Rinaldi were looking at Google Earth images a few moments ago.
Yeah.
There is often in that driveway, in front of the driveway, a dumpster, which I assumed was for the garbage collection for the building. So again, there may be a little narrow walkway on one side, there may be garbage
Well,
cans.
that's not dumpsters I saw there on the picture, I saw garbage cans.
Garbage cans, right?
Not a dumpster.
On
It's not
Google
wide
Earth,
enough to have a dumpster.
I've seen a dumpster
On the
in
left
the
side.
driveway
a
a while
Mr.
ago.
Harrod said he's seen a dumpster there as well, but some of the Google Earth images.
On the right or on the left?
On the right,
On the right, where the
Oh,
driveway
okay,
is.
yeah, I see it there now, yeah.
Yeah.
but it's not
The
there
question
now.
is, is the dumpster there for
Well, maybe it was there for other purposes.
construction, or is it just there because that's where they dump the
They
garbage?
might have been cleaning the place out.
That's 2 years old.
It's 2 years old already. But in any case, the driveway, it's been established in the record that it's now as the driveway is only a little over 8 feet, which I don't think would safely permit any cars to get into.
I agree with you.
And the architect, in his testimony, was calling the bottom level the lower level, but it is truly a basement. It is a basement. And if I understand correctly, even with the zoning changes that were implemented in July of 2019, basement apartments in general are still illegal in the town. Right? It's still illegal, except for, I think, for a small section of Silver Lake, it's illegal to have basement apartments, notwithstanding the applicant's intention to build some sort of emergency egress well in the back of the building. I think basement apartments are still manifestly illegal. I wish Mr. Di Lorenzo was here tonight to
This is a
confirm that.
proposal.
Yeah, but that's what he's looking for,
What?
he's looking for approval of,
So it is illegal technically.
right? I'll check, double check, but I think it is.
You have to go and see how much.
How deep
below
it is.
grade.
Yeah.
We went through this many times.
Oh, yes, many times.
Right,
I
so
agree with you.
I'm not saying it's not, but
And I'm not saying it is.
I'm not, that's up to them to give me testimony. How much is above grade and how high the ceilings are. And that's one of the reasons why you have, if you go, on Charles, there are several apartments that have window wells, but they're not called basement apartments. But they're the same concept as this.
Wouldn't it be in everyone's best interest to get a definitive ruling on whether he's,
Well, the board feels it needs that, because Mr. Di Lorenzo isn't here tonight, so we're at a
I
disadvantage.
don't know if it's,
He's
that's
been
unfortunate
sick,
that
he's
he's not
been
here
sick.
tonight.
I can't have to wait for the guy to come out of bed to come in.
His opinion in this matter, or his testimony would be critical.
Well,
Just
if we
because
decide, we could hold off on a ruling until next month when he's here, and this case would just get continued to next month. This would be the first case on the agenda.
Something for you to weigh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And for the record, I have no objection to that because when Mr. Di Lorenzo was here, he clearly said, he didn't say it was illegal, he said it could be an apartment, but there's certain things it has to
But
be.
there's one problem. Whatever he said last month.
No, I know. No.
Because it's not on the record.
Right, so that's why I have no problem having you come to testify.
Okay. Any other questions of the architects? You wish to call the planners, so maybe we can get
Mr.
more
Provino?
information on that?
Can I got a question for the
Sure.
architect.
Okay.
Sir, in your professional architectural opinion, sir, what would be the most, to give this building a facelift, what would you recommend?
I mean, a lot of times on some of the older buildings, we're kind of painting that brick just because it's kind of dated and aged right now. It's held up pretty well as far as the condition of it, but it's the visual. So a lot of times we'll use like a masonry type paint, something that'll soak in and just kind of get a new color scheme to that and brighten that up so it's kind of dark and dingy. We look to kind of do a little bit of an upgrade on that visual there with some newer and brighter colors.
Would you sandblast it?
No, not really. I would power wash to sandblast some of the concrete that's exposed in the middle and repaint that or resurface that concrete. There's some exposed concrete that looks rusty and aged. And again, we might sandblast some of the metal staircases that are there if we need to get some rust off. But really just like applying new paint to that and new paint on the concrete will really brighten up that center portion, and that's kind of what we were looking to do. Can we take further steps? Yes, we could. Maybe window frames to kind of match a color scheme that we're doing, or even painting the brick.
What color scheme are we thinking of doing?
Well, a lot of the newer color schemes we're going to kind of include like a brighter white, or we have gray. I haven't really looked at this one specifically, just going off of some other projects that we've worked on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
You? You raise your right hand, please, sir. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
Yes.
State your name, spell your last name, please.
Salvatore Corvino, Corvino, architect and planner, but I'm only testifying as a planner today.
You've been here before, I think.
Yes. Yes.
You're testifying as a planner.
Yes, he's testifying only as a
I
planner.
testified as both.
And would you give the
Past.
board the benefit of your education and the professional
Are his
experience?
licenses still current in effect as a planner?
Yes.
He's been here numerous times, I have no problem.
111 Brookfield Avenue, Nutley.
Okay, Mr. Corvino, would you
Sure.
talk about the building and the...
Sure. So
discrepancies?
when I was asked to get involved in this project, to go to the tax department and code official, spoke with Frank, and then went downstairs and researched some of the tax records, just so I had some kind of history on the building. So I thought it was important to kind of understand that. And I picked up some tax maps just to identify other properties in the area and what their usage was. It's obviously a very mixed bag in Franklin Avenue, anywhere from two-story, three-story apartments, or houses, stores, auto body, banks, and of course a lot of mixed use. There's also a couple of large apartment buildings across the street that have residential on the ground floor, no stores. But again, there are a lot of older buildings, especially some of the corner buildings, where are multifamily uses with stores and apartments above. Of course, some of those buildings don't even have parking. So just understand the history of the area, and I'm sure everyone knows the neighborhood, and you can see
Familiar
what's
with the
there.
current zone,
Right.
all Washington Avenue.
The new
That
current
all
zone is
of
different.
Washington Avenue now requires commercial on the first floor.
Absolutely. Now, you know, new zoning requires all of that. But going back to the tax records, I was trying to understand
You
what
have
came
the
first,
complete
the
tax
chicken or the
records?
egg here.
Do you have the complete tax records from when the
I
property was
have
built?
everything going back to 48.
That's when the building was built?
Yeah, and I could go through each card and then give it to you to make copies so you can look at them. But if you don't mind, I'll just read off if you want me to put them into the exhibit
If
first?
we're going to eventually consider them, they should be marked. You can mark them as a group.
Okay, so, tax records,
Should be A6 tax records from 1948 to the present.
yeah, 48 to 2022.
Okay.
And these were records copied for me by the clerk, and, you know,
You
every
mean
time
tax
there's a
assessment?
revaluation, or, you know, they skip years, so it's like every 5 years, give or take. So just right off the bat, 48, first one was 44, it was an empty lot. It was just purchased as an empty lot. There's nothing, no record there. Next tax record appears 1955, 10 years, some of them are 10 years apart. In this record, the property was purchased by the person who actually built the building. And again, there was nothing on the site yet. And then it was in 60, the building was built. So there's a record in 63 that states use 8 apartments, 2 offices. So that occurred in 63.
And that's when the building was built.
Building, I think, was built in 60, just before 60. In 71, there's a tax record, 8 apartments, 2 offices. Now again, this is how it's being taxed. So that's what the tax person identified, 8 apartments, 2 offices. And then at some point, the tax record states, again, just you have to find it, identify it on the card. 10 apartments.
When is that?
I'm sorry, 8 apartments, 2 offices on this one.
What date is that?
That is 60,
The last one was 71.
yeah, May 27th, there's another year on it. But it was in the order she gave it today. For a reason, there's no year associated with this.
It was still 8 and 2?
8 and 2, still 8 and 2. There's a date with no year attached, but it's stamped. This next one was from 92, 94. A sequence here. This one says,
This is 92 now.
a little hard to read some of these, I apologize. 10 units. This one's first one indicates 10
And
apartments.
when is that?
This is a tax record from 1977 revaluation.
Yes, there was a revaluation in 77.
It says 10 units. It didn't break them down.
Yeah, it didn't break it down, but yeah, just trying to read it, make sure I'm not missing. 20 rooms, so right? Just 10 units. It doesn't describe, but I'm reading it as it's 10 apartment units, the way they're calling it out on other records. Part of that. The next one, 10. Yes. So the next record, 10 one-bedroom, and it says basement apartment 50%. I don't know what that means, but it says 10 one-bedroom.
And that's, what year is that?
1993. It was
Is it 50% for the lower?
50%. I guess what they meant was there was only 2 units, 1 basement.
Or
Four of the
is
2
it half
houses.
of it? half of the value of the other
half the
apartments?
value of the unit, because the other half was utilities.
But it was 10
10 and 70.
10 apartment units.
10 apartments. Then here in 2007, another revaluation, am I correct? There was another revaluation in 2007, and this one states 10 units.
10 units, no breakdown.
Multi-residential finished basement, 10 apartment units total.
10 apartment units total,
Yeah, 10 units. Multi-residential finished basement, doesn't fall out any commercial. And then again, it was built in 61, by the way.
Sir, I'm sorry, what year was that one, sir?
19, I'm sorry,
The last one?
the year on this one?
Yeah.
2007, so
And they
during
said
the revaluation.
That was another revaluation. And they said it was 2 finished basement.
No, it's a 10 apartment
10,
units.
multifamily finished basement, 10 units.
Oh,
About 10 units. It's a column that says units and it says 10.
okay.
Here, apartments, 10 apartments. This is from 1922.
2,000.
Sorry, 2022, my apologies.
What did it have, 10 apartments?
Yes. Now, there's one here in 2019, I'm sorry, I'm out of sequence. That was 22. 2019, there's a card here that says, the only one that really describes it in full, 10-unit apartment building, 1 bedroom, states that 2 of the units are now offices but unrented, valued as 10-unit apartment on-site parking for 6 cars. It's the only one that really gives a better description. And that was from 2019. Then in 2023, this tax card says 10 apartments on the tax card. Sorry.
Can you give them up to us so we can look at each of them? That's fine, what they are.
Mr. Corvino, was there any indication that from the time the building was built up to now, there was any application to zoning board, planning board for any sort of relief?
Not from the records I checked with the building department, and that's why Mr. Di Lorenzo said he didn't have any records either. So, but for years it was,
It sounds like
offices that got,
it was 10 units.
and then suddenly became apartments, and they really are. They were laid out as apartments, even though they were used as offices recently or tried to be rented as offices, but they were always built as apartments. Just an unusual for that. Again, from my standpoint as a planner, and I can give a little bit of an opinion as an architect, it doesn't make any sense for commercial use to be there when someone can't even put a sign out that could be visible from the street in terms of the level that the unit is at. The apartments could be legalized, and I believe the architect has provided the egress window requirement to make that a legal apartment. But of course, you'd want to confirm that with Mr. Di Lorenzo. But I do recall from what he stated last week that in the past, with what I've done in the past, you need to meet certain requirements: headroom, egress windows, size of bedroom, to make sure they were legal.
You want a minute to look at those, or you?
I just want to, really, you had something about the grade?
Yeah,
Is
so,
he the one who answers that?
the question, Franklin will be the guy.
Oh, okay.
In my mind, there's, and I'm in the code school myself, what they do is they measure ceiling height and how much of the lower level, we'll call it the lower level, is below grade. So Franklin goes in and says X amount is above grade, so they consider it a lower level manor basement. A first floor window. So, I don't know that answer, I would defer to Frankie, because he would do the measurements, not me.
From my understanding, if it's considered a cellar, you can't have it more. But if it's a basement, by definition, it has the egress window and proper room sizes,
And ceiling.
proper window area for the light and air, you can meet the requirement for an
Well,
apartment.
that's up to Mr.
Again,
Pino.
I'm not the architect, so I'm not gonna take that.
I think we need him here.
That would have to be something
I
that,
would feel more comfortable with him here, let him make that assessment.
I agree.
again,
I also agree with that, and also, maybe I should direct this comment at you right now. I agree with that, I think that we need Mr. Frank Di Lorenzo just to ascertain that information, and also,
He has an architect that can offer an opinion and do measurements and present them, you know,
But
what he
he's not
finds,
familiar with our zoning law.
and see if he agrees with Mr. Di Lorenzo.
yeah.
But not for me to make that assessment.
And also, one of the things that I would like to see, you know, right now, this building is ugly to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being completely honest with you. You know, what I would like to see for this township, and I think we're all obligated here on this board, is to see something a little bit more modern looking. Do you think the next time we see you guys, can we please have an artistic rendering of what this building would look like if we approve it? What would it look like? We want something modern, we want this town to look great.
When he came to our office, I've been passing this building almost every day of my life, 4 or 5 times a day. It's the ugliest building on Washington Avenue, there's no question about it. My client truly wants, and we talked, when he came into the office, it was right after the ordinance was passed, commercial on the first floor, they're putting up, some of our clients are putting up the apartment buildings, built by a ShopRite. We were talking about Art Deco, and he is gonna do something, because it's just terribly ugly.
What I think
There's no
is,
question about
what
it.
I think is he's asking for, we want to see his vision in.
Right, I understand.
If, Mr. Rinaldi, if this is ultimately approved,
Right.
if it is, there would be conditions as in any application, and I'm sure they're gonna relate to the aesthetic improvement, and I think it's better we see it
Okay, I agree.
before we vote than after.
Okay, but, you know,
And
my
also-
client started this by wanting to spend money to fix it up, and then, you know,
No, well,
like.
Well, also,
okay,
we would want to know what it looks like upstairs, because we have to compare what's up there with what's down there, and we have to make sure that there is not anything that could cause a problem,
Okay,
okay? Because all you did was give us the basement. We don't know what's upstairs for sure,
Existing.
you know? And
we
we want to
architect
see
can do
what's
that.
up there.
And there are 4 apartments on each floor, 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
He didn't, he'll do it. That's
Give
not a
us a
problem.
layout.
May I just ask Mr. Rubino his opinion, so we don't have to bring him back?
Yes, okay, he can finish his planning,
right, okay.
testimony, yes, positive, negative criteria, all that, yes.
So, just, the positive criteria in terms of section C4055D2, this building does, per section A, converting the use from office to residential. Basement continues to provide development of lands in the state in a manner promotes public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, because we turn what is it, 2 vacant offices that are unrentable to 2 rentable apartments, thereby contributing to a viable positive use for the building and neighborhood. It's never a good situation to have vacant occupancies in a building, and this would benefit the public and provide additional residential, needed residential units. Per section G, the property does continue to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for its residential needs of the New Jersey citizens without impact on open space as it utilizes the existing space in the building with no additions or expansion. Per section M, the conversion reverts back to a prior apartment use that was recorded in the tax assessor's office since 1977, 10 apartment units, pointing various public and private proceeds to this zoning lessens the cost of such development in an efficient use of land, since it does not impose any major construction costs to convert an existing space once used as an apartment to an apartment once again. No added space, no added building volume, no added footprint. Again, utilizing the existing building. Negative criteria. The development can be granted for two expansion units in a 8-unit building. It's a non-conforming use because we don't have mixed use, but the use restricts against such use because it converts to a prior use once it's accepted at the lower level in the apartment.
I want to emphasize something that you're saying. You're saying prior use.
Well,
no proof it was prior legal use.
It's illegal, just said prior use from tax records. I'm only referring to tax records.
Tax records do not mean it's legal.
Absolutely. Again,
Just state what's there.
yes,
Exactly.
all I have to go on for history, but, that's going to have to be a judgment call.
Yeah, well, for you to say you're reverting back to what it was,
Well,
it
again,
makes it sound like it was legal, and it was never legal that you have ever been able to prove.
absolutely. Well,
Thank you.
yeah. So, to clarify that it was a prior use that it was going back to in '77. Obviously, there were offices before, there were apartments in the middle, back to offices. So there is a...
Maybe back to offices because
Going
when
back
they
and
needed a
forth,
CO,
because maybe
they could only get a
market-
CO.
One at a time, please.
what the market required it to be, I guess, to try to rent the space. So I believe that there's some confusion on that, and the records indicate that. And all I'm trying to get at is that, it still meets the needs of the zone plan, in that it still is providing a use, whether it's not a mixed use, still provides apartments, whether it stays an office, and obviously that would meet the code too, but we're not changing to something that's not allowed in the zone. It's just where it's allowed in the building that is the issue here. No apartments allowed on the ground floor or basement.
So technically, it's not allowed.
Right. But it is a use that is still a viable use that still contributes to the zone plan in terms of providing apartments, because that is one of the uses that the zone plan requires. However, there are other buildings, I had stated before, across the street, that are just apartment buildings, don't have any ground floor. I know the new zone falls out for that, that's what you're trying to change it to. We're dealing with an old building that doesn't have a very good first floor for the purpose of office or retail, which is what you're trying to accomplish in the new zone plan and what other buildings would comply with. But because it's a basement space, it becomes very awkward to try to use that as commercial use. It's visibility to the street. I also want to bring up in terms of parking, offices require 2 spaces. So the parking isn't increasing by converting it to an apartment. It's still the same requirement. So, and the owner did say that about half his tenants do not use, that he has now, do not use vehicles. They're seniors that use public transportation and get transportation. So there's some consideration towards it. And of course, the 2 apartments could be rented with that requirement. They don't get a parking space, so that could be something that they can limit the use of.
I love the way you talk. And I'm going to tell you why. You know, and I know, that commercial use is only usually during the day.
I understand.
And people live there at night. So it's less intensive use as commercial than it is as residential. And to say, and try and say it somewhere else ain't gonna work here.
Well, again,
Because this board has just had the same type of case only a month or 2 ago.
People work all different hours. People don't always work during the day.
No. So if they work at night, they won't, then there'll be less cars there at night because they're working somewhere. Either way, if there is commercial use, there's not gonna be commercial use there at night, I'm sure. Because Washington Avenue at midnight is like a ghost town except for any bars that are open. Okay?
But, you know, there are different situations, and you can't guarantee anyone is gonna be 100%, so.
You can
People,
guarantee
you know,
that if
nowadays,
it's
people work all different
residential,
hours, it's
you can
different.
guarantee that if it's all residential, every night, unless somebody's working a night job, they're gonna have to have a car there if they own a car. And just because some people don't have cars that are currently there, that doesn't mean any residents in the future may need to have cars.
But at this point, those spaces do not get used fully under today's condition.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
People lease it now.
Yeah, but if you're, I'm sorry, I'm gonna call him your client. If the owner decides to renovate the whole building, then we're talking about a whole different clientele. Am I correct to think like this?
Yeah.
Right, because if you buy up the rents, right?
Still one bedroom.
And it's still one bedroom, I mean, he plans to renovate the whole building and do a full reno job, right? Now we're talking about a whole different type of renter who might have a car. You know, so what else? You see, we're talking about different people.
But again, I only brought up the fact that there are a number of apartment buildings with stores on them underneath them. There's no parking at all.
Yeah.
A lot more units than he has.
And when they came
Three-story.
before us and asked to convert to residential, we said no.
No, but I'm talking about apartment buildings.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Mixed use.
apartment buildings.
Right.
With the stores on the first floor, we've had a number that came here wanting to convert to residential on the first floor, and we told them no.
I'm referring to existing mixed-use buildings with no parking for stores or residents at all. At least this site has some parking on site, and should be considered complying to some degree, you know, compared to some of the other buildings on that street. So.
Okay. Any more questions of the planner? Any questions by members of the public of the planner? No. Are we in all agreement that we want to wait until next month when Frankie's here? Any argument over that? No?
With artistic renderings.
Oh, yes, and artistic renderings of,
Given what everybody said, especially Mr. Anguita, you can see that the building is ugly. So I think it'd be in your benefit to show the board what it's gonna look like.
it's not the most ugliest combination, I can tell you that.
When I was a kid, I used to think it was a motel. I always assumed it was a motel.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
that's what
needs,
it does. It
you
does
need
look
to,
like a motel.
I think you need to show the board
Okay.
some pizzazz.
And then we're gonna hold you to that. If you're telling me that building's gonna have a nice, it'll be white, and have black trimmings, I wanna see that when I'm passing by.
We were the ones that really said to him, oh, you can't do anything because, you know, in his mind, he was buying residential. He wasn't buying commercial.
Okay, so, since we're all in agreement, ZB 2023-07, which is block 7906, lot 5, this will be held over to our March 7, 2024 meeting. There'll be no further notices either in the newspaper or by mail for anybody who's interested. Okay? All in agreement?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. First on the agenda to finish it up.
I'm assuming if we're bumping up against any time limits, you agree to extend it?
Yes, extend the time.
Oh, and remember to have renderings for the second and third floor, so we know what's
We're going to
there.
have renderings for the entire building as well as the facade of the building and the outside.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor to adjourn? Adjourn? We're adjourned.